Section 12 Closing. Having delved into the weighty concepts of symbolism, foundational reality, narratives, God, angels, seraphim, cherubim, demons, devils, serpents, dragons, Satan, heaven, hell, spirit, soul, body, determinism, and free will, we now confront the formidable challenge of weaving these multifaceted threads into a unified and cohesive framework. To summarize such expansive and intricate topics is no small task, yet it is a task that must be undertaken by those who seek wisdom. Here, I shall endeavor, with humility, to present my beliefs on how these ideas intersect, converge, and ultimately cohere within a broader and more comprehensive understanding. To begin, I must emphasize the paramount importance of narrative. A narrative functions as the vital intersection where the literal and the figurative converge, surpassing the limitations inherent in either when considered in isolation. It serves as a vessel for truth, and I believe this is precisely why God incorporates symbolic imagery throughout Scripture and why Jesus so often taught through parables. These narrative tools compel us to engage with meaning on multiple levels, revealing truths that transcend the constraints of literalism while remaining sufficiently anchored in the reality we know, ensuring they do not drift into abstract detachment. I hold that God is the very foundation of reality itself, the absolute grounding of all that is. Yet, as finite beings, we are inherently limited in our ability to fully discern this true reality in its entirety. As explored repeatedly throughout this volume, our perception is incapable of grasping the thing in itself, in its pure and unmediated form. This epistemic limitation necessitates surrender and faith, urging us to trust in God's overarching plan and providence. Neither any individual nor any collective can ever hope to perceive or comprehend the fullness of all there is to know, a truth that calls us to humility and reliance on the divine. Some may interpret my approach in this work as an assault on those who adhere rigidly to literalist interpretations. Let me clarify that my critique stems from the recognition that such perspectives dominate much of the Western discourse on these topics. My intent is not to undermine faith but to encourage deeper contemplation. When we encounter complex concepts like spirit, for example, we must ask ourselves, what does this truly signify? Some may interpret it as an external entity, while others see it as an expression of human consciousness. Whatever stance one takes, it is imperative to consider the implications of that view rather than merely conforming to the orthodoxy of the day. Fundamentally, however the Spirit is defined, it is a divine gift, enabling us to think and discern as God intended. Angels, as messengers of God, often function in ways so closely aligned with His will that they appear indistinguishable from Him. Whether one interprets angels as celestial beings, human agents, or both, the message remains the same. We should aspire to align our own will so completely with the highest ideal that we, too, become indistinguishable from it. Similarly, the seraphim and cherubim, whether understood literally or symbolically, embody perpetual worship and vigilance, guarding what is sacred and opposing evil. Is this not also humanity's calling? Demons and devils, whether understood as external, literal forces that oppress or as symbolic representations of internal impulses that corrupt, embody the peril of being overtaken by destructive ideas. Similarly, we must remain vigilant against the creation and dissemination of harmful ideas, which, once unleashed, can take root in the world and exert a possessive influence over others. Satan, whether conceived as the adversary arising from humanity's sin or as a primordial rebel against God, serves as a symbol of both the rebellion inherent in human nature and the trials that emerge from straying from divine order. Heaven, whether envisioned as humanity's ultimate destination or as a kingdom descending to earth, offers the hope of a redeemed and perfected reality. Hell, whether conceived as the grave's shadowy depths or a place of eternal torment, reminds us that the soul's journey extends beyond the bounds of this mortal life. In grappling with these concepts, one must strive to define terms like spirit, soul, and body with precision, avoiding the superficiality that leads to cognitive dissonance. The tension between determinism and free will is perhaps one of the most challenging topics to navigate. Yet, one must remember that God is both just and purposeful. His plan accommodates human freedom while ensuring that justice and redemption prevail. Finally, I urge each reader to take the first step upon Jacob's ladder and begin their ascent. Approach this journey with fear and trembling, for it is no small task. Do not grow complacent or stagnate, for the world is replete with both the literal and the symbolic, and we are called to discern where God brings them into contact. Let us engage in communion with one another, sharpening our understanding as iron sharpens iron. But beware, if one enters the discourse armed with a tin sword, they should not be surprised when it shatters. This is not an indication of arrogance or cruelty on the part of one's opponent, but rather a call to grow stronger. As you walk away with your broken sword in hand, consider it an invitation to move beyond the milk of surface-level understanding and begin a diet of more substantial truths. It is through such rigor that we refine our tools and strengthen our ability to grapple with the profound. I hope this volume has been both edifying and thought-provoking. And as always, let us remember, these are merely the musings of a mortal.